Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Anthony Smoak. Go ahead and check me out on AnthonySmoak.com. Definitely hit subscribe here on YouTube. As always, if you learned something, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you ring the bell so you get the notification when I drop a new video. So, we are in unprecedented times right now. I hope everyone is social distancing and watching YouTube from the comfort of your home. I want to give a huge heartfelt thanks to all of our medical workers, our delivery people, our grocery workers. They're keeping society functioning right now at the cost of their personal safety. So much respect. Our heart goes out to New York City and of course, other places around the world. In this video, I wanted to show you a dashboard I put together using some of the COVID-19, the Johns Hopkins COVID-19 data set that Tableau has kind of put all together in one file, right? So there's three parts to this video. Just want to quickly show you some of the functionality on this dashboard. I'll show you where you can get the data, and then we'll put together some of the pieces needed to build out the dashboard. I'm not going to build out the whole dashboard with all the formatting and all that stuff, but just a quick kind of overview of how you put together some of these pieces here. So you can see we have confirmed cases through April 7th, 2020. I've got confirmed cases and confirmed deaths, and then you can get a breakdown by a state or province. Same thing if I go to U.S., it'll only show states here. Again, heart goes out to New York, New Jersey, everywhere around the country. And if we do this, right, you can see we can see the growth of our cases and our deaths over time. You can see on the map, China starts out with a huge lead, or if we look here on the bar chart, and then other countries start to catch up, right? U.S. way out in front here as we're dealing with this here. But if you look at this on a linear scale here, right, the rate of growth increases substantially, right? It gives the impression that all of our hard work in social distancing isn't working. But if we look at this on a logarithmic scale, right, even though the overall numbers are still increasing on the logarithmic scale as our access just increases by a factor of 10 every time here, you can see the point at which the rate of growth starts to level off. Sadly, it's starting to increase more, but that's what a logarithmic scale allows us to see, allows us to kind of zoom in and see when that rate of growth levels off, that exponential growth has stopped. So again, this is using the COVID-19 cases maintained by Johns Hopkins, cleaned and organized by Tableau. So let's show you. I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to bring up Explorer here. I'm sorry, Firefox, I should say. But this is the Tableau site. You can see the link here. And then once you go in here, you'll notice that there is a access the data, right? And then a CSV file. I can use a direct download. And when I do that, it's going to take me to data.world. So you're going to have to make a login for data.world to get this data set. If I go down here to COVID-19 cases.csv, I can hit this download, and it'll put that CSV file on my laptop locally. There's some metadata as well, right? So we're going to be using the case type that helps us delineate between our confirmed cases and our death. The cases, which is a point-in-time snapshot. You'll see what I'm talking about here soon. We've got our date. You get the country. You've got the province, state for some of those countries. And then it even breaks down into, for U.S., the county. And then also we'll use the latitude and longitude, right? So let me break open a Tableau sheet here, show you the data. So this is data imported from data.world that Tableau has maintained. You can see our case type. We have deaths and confirmed. You'll notice we have cases and you have difference. So I use the cases, but again, it's point-in-time data, right? So for each date, there's going to be a case number. So let me show you what I mean by that. So this is an example sheet that I have just kind of showing how the data is laid out. So I'm filtered by U.S. and the state of Georgia. That's where I'm broadcasting from. And I have a date in here. So you can see this is the first date. I have it filtered by cases greater than 0. So this is the first date that there was a confirmed case here in Georgia in the data set. And so you can see the numbers go up, but I can't just sum up all of these numbers because I'd be overstating. Right? If I had 2 cases on the 3rd and I still had 2 cases on the 5th, that doesn't mean I have 6 cases, right? I still only have 2 cases. So I have to look at this data at a point in time. So as of 4/7/2020, we've grown to 8,800 confirmed cases. And so it works the same with deaths as well, right? And you want to make sure that you do not select both because then you're overstating, right? So you either want confirmed or deaths, right? So we're going to go with confirmed here. Just wanted to show you that. So let's put together the map. Now, looking at the data, you see we've got a latitude and a longitude generated. So I'm going to double click on both of those, right? That brings up a map. And then what we want to do is we want to bring our country or region into detail. And that brings all of our data points there. And then we want cases. Let's put the cases on size, right? And I'm going to play with size here. We're going to bring that up. And we want to make sure. So if we were to look at this, you'll see U.S. 3,300,000 cases. We know that is not the case because we need to have a date on here, right? We need to have a date. First and foremost, we want a case type though, right? So I want confirmed only on here. I'm going to say OK. And then for the date, watch, I'm not going to put that on the filter. I'm going to put that on pages. And so we want to make sure, not year, I want this to be the exact date. And so what that's done is, let me get rid of this hide card. What that's done is it's shown me a representation of the data on January 22nd, 2020. And so what I can do, I'm going to pick fast speed here. I'm going to select show history. I want to make sure the history is shown for all. And if I click the button here, you'll see that as time progresses for each date, my data points increase in size. So the pages shelf lets you break a view into a series of pages so you can better analyze how a specific field affects the rest of the data in the view, right? So as that date increases, my size increases as well. And, again, I said I wasn't going to go into a lot of formatting, but I'm just going to just show you that you can change the color and you can change the border here. You can do whatever you want to it here. Let me show you some map options here. Map layers, so you can play around with light, normal, dark, right? You can just have kind of different options here. I'll go normal. Now, once I've selected normal, I can do this. I can go in here and say format, and I want to select the shading. And if I go to the pane, let's select this color here. You might say, okay, nothing has happened. And so what I need to do now, if I go to map layers and take off the base and the land cover, you can see, well, let's turn on the coastline and our country region borders. You can see I get this this color of my choosing for the map. So not a lot of people know that you can do that just because they may have the land cover or the base on here. So you can leave the land cover on if you wanted to, but it's that base that covers up your custom color. So just keep that in mind if you kind of want this this look right here. So we've done the map. Let's do the line graph of our confirmed cases, right? So let's take, again, we always want to take, with this data set, we're going to take our case type. We know that we want this to be confirmed. We're going to say OK there. And let's drag the date to columns, right? And I want that to be the, oops, sorry. I want this to be the exact date. So I get that there. And so I can bring my cases to rows, right? You see we get that linear chart here, and then line graph, and I want to hold down control, and I've got 2 here. And so what I have is I have 1 I believe that's this top one and then this bottom one. So on the bottom one, I want to change that to an area, right? And then once I do that, I must have pre-hidden hidden my my axes here. So here, let me turn this on. We've got show header. Show that header. There we go. So that comes back. So what I can do now, down at the bottom, I'm going to say dual axis, right? So that gives me those two axes right here, and I always say synchronize just to make sure. I don't need this one right here, so I'm going to unselect show header right there, right? And then what we want to do now, I can edit this axis right here. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, let's get rid of the cases. And on the tick marks, I'm going to make this 0, go fixed 0 to 300,000. Okay, so we have that. I can play around at the top here. I can play around with the size of the line graph here, the outer line if I wanted to. And so the key on this, right, if I bring in, once I bring in the date to pages, right, that's the key. And I want to make sure that it's, again, exact date. Okay, you're like, hey, where did everything go, right? Let me just hide this, get rid of that right there. Where'd everything go? I'm going to show my history. I'm going to make sure that it's all here. And so now if I go through here, you can see I kind of lost that area, but it puts this little line here as it progresses through. And that's how I did the growth of the confirmed cases. And I know worldwide, according to the data set, we're about 1.4 million. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. So obviously with formatting, you can turn off borders. You know, it's always interesting trying to find the right places to turn this stuff off in Tableau. So I'm going to say none. That turns that off. So that's my borders. I can come in here to lines, make sure my grid lines and zero lines are not showing as well. So I like this fresh and clean look. And then obviously I can, for the color, if I'm on all, it will change the color for everything, but I'm just going to change the circle here. If I just select that, right, we just get this result right here. I can, again, play with the size if I want bigger marks or not. But anyway, that's how we get, I don't need two dates in the tooltip, but that's how we get this line graph here, right? All right, so let's move on to, let's do bar chart. All right, before we get off of confirmed cases, just wanted to go back and show you that if you edit the axis, this is how you change to logarithmic, right? If we change that, the axis here to logarithmic, this is how our data is going to look. So that's how I got that logarithmic axis on the dashboard. We can change it back as well. Just wanted to show you that. And then obviously if I wanted to, I could change this to circle and then have more control over the size here, right? But I typically leave this as line. You know, when you throw it on the dashboard, it just behaves a little better. But again, that's just a personal preference. So let's go over to the bars here. So we're going to make the bar chart. The first thing that we have to remember is we need to put the case type on the filter because we want to show our confirmed cases. So we're going to say OK there, and let's bring a sum of cases over here to columns, and then let's bring our country and region over here to rows. And you'll see we have a number of countries here. I'm just going to apply a filter, and we'll put the cases on the label. And you'll see that these numbers are not correct, right? Because we need some sort of date, right? This is point in time data. If you don't have a date, it's going to sum up everything incorrectly. So there's two things I want to do because I only want the top 10, not based upon this wacky wrong number. I want the top 10 based upon the confirmed cases on my max date, which is April 7th. So, you know, in order to put that filter on here to get the top 10, let's do this. I'm going to, let's go to filter. And this is a little bit of cheating a little bit. Well, not really. Let's call it ingenuity. I'm going to put this formula in here. So what we need is, I only want the top 10 country. I only want to sum the cases for the top 10 countries, right? So I want a sum of cases if the date is April 7, 2020. That is the maximum date in my data set. And the case type is confirmed, right? If those two conditions are met, right, the date is my max date for 7/2020 and the case type is confirmed, then some cases, right? And I want the top 10 countries that meet that criteria. So the reason why I say it's cheating is because I don't like hard coding. I tried using a max in here, but it'll give you an error. You can't mix an aggregate and non-aggregate items together. So if you out there, the hive mind mentality, wisdom of the crowds, if you know of a way for me to dynamically get that in here without me having to go in and change this, hard code this to a date, I welcome that feedback. Please put it in the comments, right? So we can all learn from it. So I'm going to say okay. And what that does is it brings me back those 10 countries, and I know that that this is wrong information. At least that's showing here. The filter's right, but what's showing is incorrect because we don't have a date in here. So our date filter is essentially going to be our page, right? If I bring the date up to pages and I say exact date, now when I look at this, right, let's go to here to show history. All, make sure you do that. And then I'm going to say, okay, we can watch this grow. And hopefully I shouldn't get 4 million like I did previously, right? We see China stall out, and then the U.S. comes on 396,069. If I go back to my dashboard for United States, 396,069. So I know that that is the right number. And so now how do you get the sort, right? When I sort, it's sorting by cases not on a particular date, right? It's sorting by that wrong number that we showed in the beginning where China had 4 million, right? I'm going to go in here to label and show, allow labels to overlap each other so I can see everything. So again, another little cheat here that I do for the dashboard. I can go in here, I can do a sort, right? But I'll do a manual sort. Yeah, I know. It gets the job done. So I just have to kind of take a look. So I'm not going to put you here. I'll do one. I'll bring the U.S. up top, right? And then we know coming in at number 2 here, I can just take a look. I can see it's Spain and Italy, right? So if I get on here and select Spain, and then Italy, and I'm not going to put you through watching me do the other sort. I'm just going to do it really quick. All right, so magically I have manually sorted the countries in the order of confirmed cases here. Again, if I needed to move something, you just kind of push it up there, and you'll see in the viz that it changes places. That's all I did fairly quickly here. So I have that in place. I can do entire view here. I like to get rid of this. I like to do the formatting and make everything clean here. So let's go to make sure we have no grid lines, right? Change that, right? So I like that clean look, and then you can keep a consistent color. So that's how we do the bar chart. So like I said, it's a little bit of a workaround in that I have to hard code in the max date, and I do a manual sort based upon the date. Based upon just kind of eyeballing once I put in the date filter. So last but not least, the ban. Bans in Tableau. I do Tableau. I do Power BI. I like bans in Power BI. It's a lot easier to do, but it's not horrible in Tableau. Again, start off with the case type here in filters. Go with confirmed. Let's just drag our data pages right now. Change it to day, right? And then I want that to be right. not day. I want to make sure it's exact date, because when you look at these, you want to make sure all of these are date, not exact date, because when you throw them on the dashboard, it's going to, you need to synchronize all of these pages, and it's going to be looking for the same field. So make sure it's date. Make sure they're consistent, right? So once we've done that, I can take cases here, some of cases, and put that on text. And you'll see I get a number here, right? And if I change it, go all the way top, I get that 1.425. And so now it's just a matter of going in here, right? And, I can say something like confirmed cases. Make sure I don't do that. Let's go with a font of 12. And for my sum of cases, let's make that a little bigger here. Let's go 18, right? And then I can, again, make that consistent color here. Let's go with that, say apply, okay. So we have that. I'm gonna hide the title, I don't need that. And then back in here, if I go to alignment, is that where I do the alignment? No, that's not where I do the alignment here. If I go to, that is where I do the alignment. I just have to go to entire view. Sorry. So yeah, once I go to entire view, that is going to show up, and obviously I can change the background color of this as I want. So as you can see, we've gone through kind of the different examples. We've got the map here. We've got confirmed cases, our bar chart, and we have our band. So in order to make the, instead of confirmed cases, we could, again, change all of these filters over to, if I show the filter, if I needed these to be deaths instead of confirmed cases, right? That's all I have to do to switch that over there. A little bit of a change here. You would do the same thing here. You would show deaths, but you would just have to make sure that when you change the, if I say edit the filter, you want to make sure that your case type is deaths, right? Here. And then you would just redo that manual sort. Simple here, just change this over to deaths instead of, if I show the filter, change that over, and that represents deaths now. And so once you have all of those pieces, all you have to do is throw it in on a dashboard, right? So again, it takes some formatting. I'm not saying it doesn't take any formatting, but it takes some formatting to kind of get it look like this and arranged like this. If there's interest, I may show another video on, how you bring these things together, how you get the logarithmic and the default axis into one container. I may show something like that. If there is interest, just leave your comment down below if you think you have an interest in that, and I may go ahead and put a video showing a little bit more detail how I bring this all together. But you know how to do the pieces, and you know where the data is. So I would say, get out there, do some great things with your data, and please, please, please be safe. This has been Anthony Smoak. Thanks for watching, everyone.